All right. Morning to everyone. I was thinking about the idea of paranoia and kind of what might be the function behind it. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon. Um, so you can think of it like this. The brain would, in theory, be a muscle like any other in our body. And like any other muscle, it could get tired or could even break to some extent. The way you solve this with regards to your actual physical muscles is, lie down, take a rest, or go to sleep at night, and then in theory, in the morning, your body repairs itself during the night or while you're resting and fixes the problem. But if something is damaged severely enough, in theory, you have to wait longer to repair it. Like if you break a bone, then you have to wait like a month or something while your body tries to fix itself. So what would happen to your brain if something like that did, right? Um, in theory, your brain does get tired, right? And you can resort to entertainment to allow it to relax, or you can, go to sleep, which allows it to repair itself. But if it's damaged enough by something like, you could say an existential crisis or some sort of traumatic event that occurs that overstimulates it to such a degree that it actually damages maybe the actual structure of your brain, or maybe it's making renovations or some sort of growing pains. For the record, there is a correlation. I think the idea is that mental issues are positively associated with creativity, so there might be some sort of causal link there. Um, but the idea would be that while your brain is down for, you know, repairs slash renovations slash whatever, you're in no state to be making, like you can't responsibly make decisions while your brain is actually in this state of, well, mind, right? So if your brain is effectively out on holiday, right, but you can't be unconscious for the duration of the repair slash renovation slash whatever, what would be the solution to something like that? Well, there's kind of the phenomenon of like the proverbial witch in the woods, like the stories that parents would maybe tell their children in order to curb their propensity for like curiosity or exploration or sweet glory. I'm using a lot of big words. Anyways, um, but this tends to be an actual thing. Point being, fear, uncertainty, doubt are very efficient paralytics. A crazy person who would be confident would act upon all of the crazy ideas that are going through their head. But a crazy person who is uncertain and fearful and, doubtful about everything would, in theory, resort to inaction as the obvious, the logical course of action at that point in time, right? So your brain um, could induce a state of doubt, fear, uncertainty. Now, you could argue as to whether it should be called fear or doubt, because doubt and fear are generally inspired by something like external to us, like you experience something that causes you to doubt. It's not just a thing that appears out of nowhere. In this case, it is just like a chemically induced state of fear and doubt and uncertainty, not necessarily caused by some sort of observation. But the idea would be that by doing this, by inducing the state of fear and doubt and uncertainty, your brain is effectively suspending initiative or any type of proactive behavior you might do. So that while it's down for repair slash renovation slash evolution, whatever it's doing, while it's doing its thing, you're basically on robot mode, right? In theory, your instincts and conscience would still be intact, so you're still kind of doing everything you did before, but like no more than that. You're sleepwalking or something like that until such a time as your brain comes back online, in which case, it no longer induces the state of paranoia, and then you become like sane again. Anyways, hopefully that made sense ish. Moving on. I have a video we're gonna watch here, and then do some Portal 2. A video by Dr. K. Kind of an interesting fellow. All right. Let's see if we can get this on. There we are. Huzzah. Last time the audio was a little bit goofy, so hopefully I think I got it balanced a little bit better this time. I'm thinking I have to turn the audio on the videos up a little bit more, but I have earbuds, so it's a little bit, yeah, we'll see.
It's in a world where, why is it in a world where people are more comfortable than ever before, have more material things than ever before, are so many people struggling and unhappy?
Sorry, I was distracted for a second there. I want to see what's on the back of this computer. Uh, More social, less media. Ah, that's actually interesting. All right. But he makes an interesting point there. Like, it does seem like there's kind of types of happiness that you chase, and then there's types of happiness that you can have and hold. Um, Things like peace or contentment or fulfillment, like versus chasing pleasure. They're different things, and you can have all of these like comforts, but they're not the same as something that would be like a little bit more wholesome as far as happiness or something like that.
Are so many people struggling and unhappy?
Well, so it's a great question, right? So the first thing I would ask is what is the correlation between having material things and comfort and happiness? So I think I basically have kind of three answers for you, okay? The first answer is we have to understand that
There was actually, I'd heard about this at some point. There was like maybe a study they had done about the people who were in Auschwitz or these prison camps, these Jewish people, and they're like the worst conditions ever. Very low suicidality. It does feel like sometimes like humanity is at its best when life is trying to kick the crap out of you and trying to like take whatever like you have. Like it's kind of one of those things where like it maybe instigates a type of fight or flight type of thing, and it's. I'm not saying it's easy. Obviously, I don't think it is, but I do think there's something to the idea that like hardship can bring out the best, and it can make us feel like that there's a reason to keep going. Give me a second. A little better.
the human body and the human mind don't wear out with usage. They actually rust.
Anti-fragile might be the right word. Yeah, it just seems like sometimes people need something to do. Like it just like never mind.
Without being used. So if you look at comfort, right? So if I start taking the elevator every day instead of the stairs, what will happen to my body? It'll actually start to get deconditioned. So I think what we're seeing in society is a whole scale deconditioning of certain neuro.
I guess I agree with that too, but like there is an element to this where like I don't know to what extent you. I think you can manufacture hardship for yourself, but I also think it's like I'm not sure how I feel about the idea of manufacturing hardship. Like, to what extent should you willfully put obstacles in your own way, and to what extent should you just seek your purpose in life? I don't know. Mhm.
scientific circuits. So we have all of these technological tools, all of these comforts that make things easy for us. But if you're sitting at home on your couch, you're getting food delivery, you're working on your laptop, and you never have to physically move, even though everything can be brought to you, that actually makes you worse, not better. So there's a really interesting mechanism here, which is if we look at serotonin production, and increased serotonin transmission is associated with improvements in depression and anxiety. We're not quite sure if deficient serotonin production causes depression or not.
I guess there's an alternate perspective on that whole. Sorry, I'm ignoring what he's saying a little bit here, but there might be an alternate perspective on that whole notion of like manufacturing hardship for yourself. In that, if progress is the betterment of mankind, and mankind requires hardship, is it not then also true that like you should avoid trying to completely get rid of hardship in order to allow for progress? Maybe that would be like the alternate perspective. Like, I guess I don't like the idea of like kneecapping technological advance so that humans just so that we like busy work so we can give ourselves busy work. But on the other hand, I can see the point in kind of the other perspective as well.
There's some debate in the academic community. But generally speaking, if your serotonin levels are high or your serotonin transmission is high, you feel better. So then the question becomes what results in serotonin production? And actually overcoming adversity, doing hard work, accomplishing something is what causes a serotonin improvement.
There was something about
So
this.
I think what we're starting to see a lot of is
Just yeah, just I'll turn this up a little bit. Hopefully everything's going hunky dory here. But I was watching something the other day. There was I think it was some sort of rodent or something, mole, whatever. It was basically an animal that would never get cancer because it would its body produces so much of a certain type of acid that cancer was incapable of growing. So part of me thinks like, does that actually correlate to human or like humans? In that, like, if you laze around, your body produces a certain type of acid when you get tired, right? When your muscles get tired, it creates an acid that makes your muscles actually hurt, and that acid, I think, in theory, actually fights cancer a little bit. But I'm not sure if it would do the same thing in humans. That's kind of an interesting notion. A lot of the jobs we have these days are very, very low, at least like physical effort. So if you don't work out or anything like that, it's probably going to be an issue at some point. Not I guess it wouldn't maybe necessarily give you cancer, but it would maybe increase your chances. Anyways,
is that people, technology is basically deconditioning us mentally. We're taking the elevator every single day. We're becoming sort of mentally kind of weak, honestly. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing
eh, idiocracy. I never actually watched that, but it's kind of an interesting notion. I don't. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe something like that could happen. I hope not.
everyone feels like they've got ADHD. ADHD is kind of on the rise. And so as our brains are becoming more deconditioned, we're starting to struggle more.
A
Hmm.
Swiss engineer might have just solved one of
Or
the biggest
love.
problems with air conditioning, and big AC companies are not.
Yeah.
He looks like a serial killer, just like a posh Indian serial killer.
So one reason is because
There is actually something like kind of there's a question like kind of I have about psychologists. It occurs to me like what type of people would actually get into psychology, and it feels like the answer is like it's not exactly a very easy job. Um, but it feels like the type of people would be people who maybe they either were through something themselves or they had someone near them who went through something, or they just really want to prove that they're smart. But it feels like whatever the case, like there might be something to the idea that you know psychologists are crazier than their patients or something.
this lack of usage is
It does feel like that there would maybe be a like a certain type of weird persona that would be really into psychology as a profession. Anyways,
rusting our minds.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? So not just our minds, our brains too, which are two discrete things.
Okay.
he said discreet. I'm pretty sure he meant distinct.
How do you distinguish the brain and the mind?
It's a mistake I would make. So, and in all of my glorious perfection, I would probably say something like that, especially if I
So your
was you.
mind is the subjective experience of thoughts, emotions, and things like that.
Hmm.
Your brain is a lump of tissue, neurons, blood
Excuse me for a second. I'm back.
vessels, astrocytes, myelin, all this
Hmm.
kind of stuff. So oftentimes people think that the brain and the mind
You lost me at lump of flesh.
are the same, but that's not true. So if you sort of think about it, like we can measure your brain. I can do something called an fMRI study, which measures blood flow to different parts of the brain. I can do something called an EEG study, which
Hmm.
measures electrical activity across the brain. But there is nothing that
Maybe an argument is like, where does consciousness actually exist? Because it kind of functions a lot like an intangible. Like, what gives it the continuity? Because you could argue it this way, like in theory, at this point in time, physically, your body and for that matter, your brain is cells of it are dying and being replaced with other cells, but you're still you. Psychologically speaking, were I to change your mind about something, a part of you would die and be replaced by something else, but you're still you, right? Tonight, like tonight, you're probably going to go to sleep and your consciousness is going to wink out of existence and then come back in the morning like nothing happened. But you're still you, right? So there's this idea of change and yet continuity, which is interesting. Like, we pretty much accept that it exists, right? Obviously, if someone commits a crime 20 years ago and they are literally a different person now, it doesn't change the fact that they are the same person who committed that crime. So we kind of, we hold them accountable for doing that thing. It's kind of a strange concept, though.
I can do to measure a thought, right? Like every person
Well, beyond action, that would generally be, well, yeah. Something.
who's listening to this podcast right now is probably having a thought, but the existence of thoughts is not measurable because they have no material. So the brain is sort of the material side, like it's like matter, right? It's like stuff that you can touch. It can be physically injured
Is a bracelet.
by a traumatic brain injury, and the mind
Hippie.
is the subjective experience of like being human,
Yeah.
or part of it anyway.
Yeah.
And those two things are different, and they connect, they talk to each other. So if you think in a certain way, it will alter your neuroscience, and if you alter the neuroscience, it will change your thinking. So there's a two-way street there.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I've been thinking of, actually. Do you think it seems like any sort of advance in technological stuff like that, any sort of advance in physical science would almost necessitate like beforehand as like an advance in psychological perspective. If people have been looking at a thing, at a problem, at reality, the same way for a very long period of time, there's been a period of stagnation. It feels like the only way to bypass something like that would be to initiate it with a type of psychological renaissance, and then, in theory, following that psychological renaissance, there could be like a physical science resurgence. But you would have to change the way people view things first before you could actually change the way. Like, it's hard to get past your own perspective on reality, it seems like.
No, I love that. Now, going back to this idea that our bodies, our minds, our brains are rusting, I think we intuitively understand that through the lens of physical health. Okay, because that drum has been beat for many years that we need to be more physically active. And the truth is that movement has been engineered out of our lives, so we become more physically comfortable. But I think it's really interesting that we've also become more mentally comfortable as well. Now, as you were talking there, I was thinking these ideas of comfort are really, really interesting, aren't they? Because
I wonder if there's some sort of teleprompter. It keeps like chink.
I mean, I wrote about this recently that I was on a train to London,
Hmm.
I would say a couple of years ago now. So I live in the northwest of England, high speed,
Eh, pompish, British, twit.
comfortable train to London.
Sorry,
And
I have to insult British people. They need it. Keeps them on their toes.
the person I was traveling with got really, really frustrated because the app that basically allows you to order your drink from the cafe 4 carriages down wasn't working. And I thought, this is remarkable.
This this is something that I've seen, and it's maybe not a thing that is exclusive to just like something as fancy as your phone. Like I'm not going to name names, but some of the people I had worked with, they would have like they would be on a tractor or something like that with a forklift or something like that, and like the oh, uh, the hoops they would jump through to avoid getting off the tractor and to move something that they had to be moved when you could literally just get off, pick it up, move it, and then, you know, be on your way. There's this thing when you become like too reliant on a specific tool, like the idea like when you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And you try to solve it with this one tool that you have that you go really, really reliant on. And like to some extent maybe it's just like an atrophied lateral thinking type of problem. I guess I don't know. Anyways,
10 years ago, a service like this did not exist. You know that if you want a drink and you don't have it with you on the train, you have to get up, walk 3 or 4 carriages,
hmm,
choose your drink,
talking
pay the
to a
money,
person.
and walk back to your seats. Okay, no one had a problem with that back then. But now the knowledge that there is an app that can make your life easier, and then the app not working caused a friend of mine quite an
Well, I don't think it's just that it's easier. I think to some extent people have become like averse to, in this case, interaction with other human beings, and there might be a degree of like risk aversion there as well.
intense degree of frustration, right?
Yeah.
Which is fascinating, isn't it?
In just the last 7 days, 8,368 men have clicked the link on one of our ads that you've probably seen on.
Absolutely, right? So I think you're touching on so many things.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at that. No shame in that. But there's this thing I've noticed that does like tick me off when you see like some sort of clickbaity ad where there's just this like dude doing this thing, and it's like nodding simultaneously. It's this just
Things, Rangan. So the first is like expectations have changed.
Mm.
So sort of like a spiritual side to this.
I hate incense.
this in a neuroscience side to this. So let's talk about
And we got it when I was younger, and they would do it, and I don't know what it is. Well, I guess I don't know if I hate it per se. Not. I don't know if I'm overly fond of the idea of it.
neuroscience first. So what are the ways in which we have become mentally deconditioned? So the first thing that has become mentally deconditioned is our attention. So in the
Hmm.
past, what would happen is when I went to school, right, I would have to
That's something like I was trying to read a book the other day. Like it's I'm trying. I just need to get to the point where I can actually just sit down and read books or whatever stuff like that. But yeah, it's a thing when you don't get the kickback from the dopamine like you do with little 5-second videos. It's a little bit hard. Anyways, I think that's all we'll watch. Again, this is Dr. Ragnan. Oh, for the love, that name, Chatterjee. I don't know. While you're always bored and happy, reinvent your life with this Dr. K, Healthy Gamer. If you want to go check that out, you're free to do so. And now for something completely different. We have first a story about a baby elephant. The first baby elephant to be born in Germany. I think in like something like 60 years. So it's kind of cute. Already going bald. There's nothing like a newborn baby to boost your serotonin levels and give you a magic Zen feeling. And that's actually true. Something about it. Funny thing about babies is that it doesn't matter what species they are. We love them no matter what. Now, to be fair, I think it could be argued that, except to a mother's love, certain babies are cuter than others. Like baby dogs or puppies, baby animals are perhaps, in my mind at least, just kind of generically cuter than human babies. Anyways, even when a baby is of the extra large mammal variety. Recently, the Opel Zoo in German state of Hesse. I'm assuming this is like a county or something, province. So, well, no, I guess it would be state, or that could be an alternative. I just didn't think of there being like states in Europe. Announces the birth of a new baby African elephant. This little pachyderm, is extra special because it's been nearly 60 years since an elephant was born there. What am I missing here? Sweet baby Kaja can be seen along with her parents exploring her new enclosure. Little one is just over 2 weeks old, but it's clear she's fresh and new and is starting to learn the ropes. I wonder how long elephants live. Hmm. How long do uh, hmm, dude, not actually too bad. If you want a pet, that might outlive you, grab one. All right. This little one is just over 2 weeks old, and it's clear she's fresh and new and is starting to learn the ropes. With her adorable tiny trunk, she is taking in all the new scenery and the new smells. However, she is sticking close to her mom and dad. Zoo officials are thrilled to welcome Kaja and the renewed energy that having an elephant calf brings. The baby elephant's arrival is the direct result of ongoing conservation efforts, and she has quickly captured the hearts of both the staff and visitors. Here are a few fun facts about Kaja and her mama, Kariba. Kaja was about 200 for the love. About 200 pounds at birth, 220 pounds, sorry, at birth, and stands 35 inches tall. Kariba is a 19-year-old African savanna elephant that joined the herd at the Opal Zoo in 2020. Lakaja was born on May 27th, 2025, following a 22-month pregnancy. Wow, that is I guess it's not much worse than ours, but still, 9 months versus 22 months. So that's like twice as long, though. That is actually. Elephant mamas are pregnant for almost 2 years before their little bundles of joy joins the world. Wow, that's something, yeah. Honestly, that sounds exhausting, but we thoroughly appreciate Kariba's efforts. We just adore her little baby girl. Thankfully, Kaja is healthy, thriving, and melting the hearts of everyone she meets. We look forward to seeing the updates about her soon. All right, nice. It's nice to have new things enter the world. One of the miracles that isn't so mundane. It's easy to ignore them. All right. One TikTok video of a close-up look. I guess I don't know, maybe there's a picture somewhere. One TikTok video of a close-up look of one man's dangerous job working with electricity became a viral hit. Many people were fascinated by the post of the electrician. For the record, I don't like heights. It's a quirk of mine. Uh, who was working on the supply of power in an area in South Africa. TikTok viewers were in awe over the video of the manual labor that one man does for his everyday job. And here we go. A man became viral hit because of an interesting profession. The video posted on June 13th, 2025, gave people a look at his job in the electricity supply industry. Yeah, I don't know if I would be into that. The video of the man left people amazed as they saw just how dangerous it is for him to work with electricity. The clip of the electrician fulfilling his work duty received thousands of likes in a TikTok video by Gag Kagag Bush. Yeah, all right. A man was suspended on a power line. He was trying to navigate his body while securely attached to the electricity cable. The electrician was being careful as he tried to maneuver his body along the electricity line to try and figure out the best way to move. He resorted to sitting on the power line and struggling while trying to move himself across. The man switches off electricity for load shedding. Load shedding often frustrates South Africans. Sorry, Freudian slip. Just think in terms of America-centric worldview. Scheduled power cuts made a video of a man working in the Eskom power plant. This fascinated people. Huh. Eskom. This is. It might be Eskom, but there's a planet or a system in one of Isaac Asimov's Foundation that has a markedly similar sound to it. The video of a man working in an Eskom power plant fascinates people in a viral story. Briefly, news reported on a man who showed people behind the scenes look at how load shedding works. He flipped the switches when it was time to initiate the load shedding in the video. Many people were amused by the video that as they made jokes about finally finding one of the employees responsible for power cuts in the country. Online users cracked jokes about the man who flipped the switches at the Eskom power plants in a video. Hmm. Many people commented on the video saying they hoped the man would be safe on his job. Some netizens wanted to know how much money he was paid to put his life at risk. Knitted like denizens? Huh. All right. I wanted to know how much money he was paid to put his life at risk. Read the comments and watch the video below. Hmm. Yolette. Oh, come on. Yolette Selabaka said, respect. God bless you. This dude. Sorry. Tobekale. I don't know. Like, sorry, this one just threw me a little bit. Uh, you're living my dream. I have N6 electrical engineering, heavy current, but I still have hope. You Kuthi, one day God will fulfill my dream. Hmm. Imagine Monday. When there was, I'd watched a video once where a guy was actually doing like an African language that had a whole bunch like stuff like that. It's a strange type of phonetics that goes into those things. Uh, Brendan Mulcano was full of jokes. McCoy now. I don't know. How come electricians are not called Power Rangers? Ha, that's awesome. Hmm. The salary's better than the salary better be speaking the same language as the danger because wow. I have to get the keys for the main electrical plant and put them in my pocket before I climb. My enemies might go back and switch on the power. Yeah, interesting. Interesting stuff. And now for something very, very based. Stupid. Come on. Bride prices are surging in China. I don't know. I'm not going to buy anything to get this, but why the government is struggling to curb them. I guess we can read the first initial part here. Marriage in China can be mercenary. Is 380,000 yuan a lot for a bride price? A woman in Guangdong asked the social media site. She's thinking of getting married and wants to know how much her fiance's family should pay for her hand. The sum she is suggesting is equivalent to nearly $53,000. Wow. Does the bride's father still pay for the wedding? Because it feels like, dude, $53,000. I'm not saying that's like completely like it's a terrible idea. Like dowries were a thing that existed, but man, might be a reason you're having such trouble like getting kids born in China for the. I think they have like a population collapse issue, and they're trying to incentivize it now, like after like years of the two kid rule. And man, is more than 7 times her annual wage. This is one of those girls that is like, I'm the prize. I'm the thousands reply him when he says you should demand more. Yes, queen. Yes, you need more. Sis, your life is your own. Don't wrong yourself. At least ask for 888 $8,800 yuan, I guess. I don't know. That is that's something. Yeah, it just feels never mind. Moving on. Canadian families will get child tax payments this Friday. The final Canadian child benefits payments are scheduled to be deposited into the bank this Friday ahead of an increase in July. So I don't think it just means the final in general. I think they're the final ones before this increase. The thing is, I think in general it's probably a good idea to incentivize this type of stuff, but eligible families can expect to receive a Canadian child benefits. Sounds like the initials of some sort of communist party. CCB. Payments on June 20th. This month's payments will be the last one before the scheduled increase in July, which marks the beginning of a new benefits year. The last time the federal government increased the child tax benefits was July 2024, when its payment went up by 4%. I'm guessing that's percent, not like the dot slash dot. 4 cents per cent. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that goofy. It seems weird. As a result of the increase, the maximum payment for children under 6 was increased by 350 from 7,437 to 7,000. Numbers hurt my brain. You can read it. For children aged 6 to 17. Maybe it's just early morning. Maybe that's why my brain is. Payments for children ages 6 to 17, payments increased by 295. Nice. To help parents with the rising cost of living, Ottawa has been using a process called indexation to increase the benefits amounts since 2018. An employment and social development spokesperson explained that due to. All right, never mind. We're gonna leave that as it is. People in Canada are getting more money for their kids, like slavery. All right, we're gonna try to play a little bit of Portal 2 here. So stay tuned for that if that's what you're into. Again, I'm hoping that I think I tapped the wrong thing here. I don't want to play Galactic Glitch right now. And that might be what's trying to come up. No, no, stop that. All right, now, come on. Portal 2. Where are you? There we go. Again, I'm hoping the audio is more balanced. But again, to me, I have headphones in, so I don't know how good my perspective on it is. All right. I generally play with controllers. I don't know what you guys do, but yeah, I'm used to. And sometimes I should get so I can actually play with a keyboard, but for now, I'll be back. Ring. I thought I already did this one. I didn't recognize. At least I got that. Did I end it when I killed that stupid robot? No. No, I'm almost sure I finished this one. Maybe didn't save it. Alright, give me a second. I'm going to try and get some white noise going here. Some nice background noise. Alright, sounds of the Serengeti. I should look that up. African white noise. There's got to be something like that. I have looked at it before. I think there's something along those lines. Rain down in Africa. What makes it rain down in Africa?
Are you covered by one of these health insurance plans? You may be able to see a personal diet.
Alright. Now, let's boogie. And why? Huh. There's something in there. I still want to sometimes see if I can find some nice, like, royalty-free music. So, we have... Oh, yeah, that's why I was... Down for the love. But the white men look not and lead him. Well, the king of... No, queen of bongo bongo land. For the record, I'm quoting this song. I'm not that racist. I try a little bit, just because I think it's good for people to, people to laugh at themselves, but, alright, now. Come on. There we go. Okay. Is there a... If I remember correctly... There's something to do with this thing. Oh, right. No, I already got the cubes. That's not the problem here. Still 90% sure I finished this thing. Yeah, sorry.
Parents a call right now.
To those parents you are trying to reach do not love you, please hang up.
Oh, that's sad. But impressive. Maybe they worked at the phone company.
Okay. How does this part work here? Am I missing something? Oh, alright, I forgot about that. Right. Now there was a... That song came from I think a Mitchell and Webb thing, where they were trying to make a whole bunch of, it was like some sort of spoof on trying to find some sort of popular show, like back in the day. They would do like parodies of...
How's it going? I taught my way onto the old nanobot work crew rebuilding your show. They are really I know, Jerry. No, I'm on a break, mate. On a break. Ow! Just hang in there for 5 more... What, Jerry? You can't fire me for that. Yes, Jerry. Or maybe your prejudiced work site should have accommodated a nanobot of my size. Thanks for the hate crime, Jer. See you in court, mate. Anyway, look, just hang in there for 5 more chambers.
Uh-huh. Oh, sorry. It was, there was a Mitchell and Webb look where I think they were trying to...
Well, you know the old formula. Comedy equals tragedy.
The premise was that they were trying to find some sort of popular show for back in the day, and that they were going through like spoofs of... They were doing like a parody of... Star Wars, not Star Trek. They were doing a parody of. I think it was. What's the one with Clint Eastwood? Mustang. Most powerful handgun in the world. That one. And then they ended up doing, this super racist
And you have been
kind of
sick for a while.
minstrel show, and everyone loved
So
it.
I
So
guess it's actually pretty funny when you do the math.
alrighty. I'm sorry, isn't it a little bit weird that the only thing that makes it African is an owl hooting? Otherwise, it's literally just any other rain video. That doesn't. I don't know if that doesn't work for me. I'm not convinced. That's one of them done, right? And take that. Oh. So there's some sort of that's Harry. Oh, okay, hold on. Hold on. There's something to that. Is there a place you could put it where you could rocket yourself? Yoink. So now. Aha! I did it! I'm the best friend. Nope. Alright, well, you have to do that. No. Oh, hello. I guess that's probably going to be the other one. So, let's try this again. Night of the Living Squishies. 574. Yoink. Now, thinking another one has to be there. Unless, of course. No. No, that doesn't seem to work. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. can't shoot a porthole while you're holding something, but you kind of... Oh, hold on. Could you drop something through the portal and then shoot the other one? Let's see if we can do that. Alright. Got that going. Hopefully that worked. Yeah. There. Alright. I don't know exactly how to rotate that. I imagine there would be a way, but... Alright. Now, I guess rinse and repeat. Yes.
I thought about our dilemma, and I came up with a solution that I honestly think works out best for one of both of us.
I'm not reassured.
Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty good. That's right. The facility is completely operational again.
We want privacy. We want privacy. Okay. That's a thing that exists. There's 3 of these things over here. There's only one. There's 2 cubes. Alright. So one of these is just gonna have to go straight through. Yeah, look, you didn't kill yourself. There's one. Now, wait, 2 cubes. Now, okay, so how would this... I feel like this one's definitely going to have to go somewhere. Hold on. So I was thinking I might have to do something like this. All right. Let's see. Go up, up. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Silly. A bit suspect, I think. Go! Okay, let's not do that. There's a nice spread-ish. Now, we can just control the angle here. There's one. Wait a minute, this one could probably be placed at any point. Oh. Here we go. Now. There's got to be a better position for this, right? So we have to 1, 2, and 3. So theory happen. It went here with it. That's already on 1. Nice. Alright, I think that's gonna work a lot better. Hey presto.
I think these test chambers look even better than they did before. It was easy, really. You just have to look at things objectively, see what you don't need anymore, and trim out the fat.
Again, not reassured.
I've
Woman's
got
a
a
psycho.
surprise for you after this next test. Not a fake, tragic surprise like last time. A real surprise with tragic consequences. And real confetti this time. The good stuff. Our last bag. Part of me's going to miss it. But at the end of the day, it was just taking up space.
For the record, I think I watched this game being played by one of my brothers when I was younger, but I don't know if I've ever played it myself. I think I remember some of the basic plots, but... Alright, what do we got here? That's the door. Stop this way.
What's going on? Who turned off the lights?
Ooh.
Hey, buddy, I'm speaking in an accent that is beyond her range of hearing.
Look, metal ball, I can hear you.
Run! I don't need to do the voice. Run! Run!
Yeah!
Run! Come on, I'm closing the door. Okay, quick recap. We are escaping. Alright, that's what's happening now. We're escaping. So you're doing great. Keep running.
Unexpected.
Quick word about the future plans that I've got in store. We're going to shut down their turret production line, alright? Turn off our neurotoxin and then confront it. Again, though, for the moment, run! This way, this way.
The irony is you were almost at the last test. Here it is. Why don't you just do it? Trust me, it's an easier way out than whatever asinine plan your friend came up with.
Oh, what? How stupid does she think we are?
Hmm.
Go! Come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was pointed off me. That's what was going on there. Okay,
Come on!
let's go game. Yeah, I remember some of this.
What's going on in there? Can you get out? We have to get you out of there! Try to make your way back out here!
And that's what we call cow tipping.
I heard gunfire! It's a bit late, this, but look out for gunfire. Probably doesn't help at this point, but I have to be right.
Alright, now. Maybe somewhere else to the porthole, right? Missing something? Oh, here we go. Hello.
You're okay? Great, come on! This way, this way!
Yay!
Turret!
Yeah.
Go, 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 go!
Science, Rakash.
There's the exit! We're almost out of here! You're bringing the whole place back! Hurry! Hurry! This way! Hurry! This way! Get in the lift!
Huzzah!
Made it! I'll meet you on the other side!
Banshee really doesn't like me. Alright.
Ah, brilliant! You made it through. Well done. Okay, follow me. We've still got work to do. She can't
I'm
touch us.
probably gonna jump off a little bit here, but we can finish this segment. Finally.
Okay. Okay, don't move. Okay, alright, so, I've got an idea, but it is bloody dangerous. Here we go. Ah!
Brilliant!
Oh, God, they told me that if I ever turned this flashlight on, I would die. They told me that about everything. I mean, I don't even know why they bothered giving me this stuff if they didn't want me to use it. It's pointless. Man. Ooh. It's dark down here, isn't it? They say that the old caretaker of this place went absolutely crazy. Chopped up his entire staff of robots. All of them robots. They say at night you could still hear the screams of their replicas. All of them functionally indistinguishable from the originals. No memory of the incident. Nobody knows what they're screaming about. Absolutely terrifying. Though
Creepy.
obviously not paranormal.
Alright, where am I supposed to be going here? Like,
Try to jump across.
jump it. Oh, here we go.
Let's keep moving. The factory entrance must be around here somewhere.
Ah, creepy.
Careful, careful.
I don't
Wait,
like horror
careful.
games.
Let me light this jump for you.
Yay.
Okay, this looks dangerous. I'll hold the light steady. Oh, nicely done. Quick, this way. Here's an interesting story. You might like this. I almost got a job down here in manufacturing, but guess who the foreman went with? Only an exact duplicate of himself. Nepotism. Ended up giving me the worst possible job, tending to all the smelly humans. Sorry, that's no, it's smelly. Just attending to the humans. Sorry about that. That just slipped out. A bit insensitive.
The robots can smell.
Okay, we have to split up here for a moment. Portal up to that passage, and I'll see you on the other side. I've got to get you out of that room. Can you reach that wall back there?
Alright, handy that all these things are.
Okay, there's another wall over here. Oh, I'll tell you, humans, oh, love them. Just the way they look,
Don't
great.
patronize me.
And their folklore, wonderful, very colourful.
Colorful might be a good description. Alright. Must we be jumping somewhere?
Right. Well, I'm going to take this rail down the back way. See you at the bottom. Good luck.
Factory. Guess the door works this time. Alright. I'll probably figure that's good for now. Don't want to get too much of it done at a time. Anyways, thanks for watching. And if you like the video, please press the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment.